What's up, beautiful besties? Welcome into the Divine Feminist by Turning Tides Tarot. My name is Alicia. I hope you all are having just an excellent day. Today we're going to start with tarot, and I'm just going to pull a 3x3 spread. And we're going to have a look at what's coming up for the weekend, okay? Let's get the weekend tea. What can you expect this weekend? Of course, on Sunday, we'll be back with our Soulful Sunday reading. And then this week, I promise, we'll be right on time with Mystic Monday. Okay, so yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And just while I'm shuffling, let me know if you have any plans. Let me know if you have any fun plans going on this weekend. If you feel like sharing, you know. We'll see if the energy here supports it or what you can expect while you're out and about, or if you're just staying at home and chilling or doing your chores or whatever it is. Maybe you have an adventure planned. I'm going to be taking my son to a fair this weekend, so that's going to be fun. And of course, work, always working. But yeah, I mean, it's not work when you love what you do, right? Okay, so I have 3 more cards to pull, and then I'm going to tune in and get the weekend tea. All right, hopefully I'll have to maybe rearrange this as well while I'm tuning in. So if you see the cards jump around when I get back, that is why. All right, so, oh, this is kind of nice. I'm liking it. Okay, all right, let me tune in. Okay, besties, I'm going to use my little fancy pointer this time because we've got a lot to talk about. And we're obviously here diving into the weekend's energy. And I have to say, Spirit, I love when Spirit does not come to play. Under the deck, I have to start with the world just a little bit right away. I mean, the world tells us that we know something's wrapping up, right? There's a cycle that's closing. So I feel like this weekend, it's almost going to, for you, I feel like it's going to like be like like the season finale of some kind of show. Okay. It's like the last episode before something new begins, right? I have to tell you, this weekend, you're not going to be stuck on repeat. The rerun is over, and Spirit's like, okay, bestie, what's next, right? What are we on to next here? So let's just dive in and, take a look at what's actually happening for you. And the first row here with Temperance, the King of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands. This weekend, I feel there's kind of this like balance meets blessing energy. And the reason I say that is because Temperance says here that you've been finding your flow again, right? I feel like you've been pulling yourself back from any kind of extremes. So if you've been, running hot and cold, or working too hard, or over giving in relationships, or even binging friggin' Netflix until 3 a.m. This weekend will have you craving balance, okay? And I just feel like you're finding a sweet spot where you can, both get things done and really enjoy yourself as well, okay? So you're trying to strike a balance. And with the King of Pentacles, some of you are, going to be in your CEO era, this is like, I'm paying my bills, I'm organizing my space, I'm grocery shopping for meals that actually fuel me, really good, healthy things, making good choices. So even if you're just tidying up your place, or, paying off a lingering bill this weekend, you're going to feel that like, that sense of security. And it's not just about money. This is really about grounding yourself as well, claiming your power and realizing, oh, I actually am the stable one. So you're really going to lean into that and probably feel pretty proud of yourself, actually, because I do feel like you're over here making healthy choices, especially if you are on that, that great lock-in energy that we were talking about in our last reading, right? If you're locking in, so you're going to feel proud of yourself this weekend. And then I do feel like, the Ace of Wands, there's something that's going to hit for you this weekend that makes you feel like the spark is back. Okay. This could be like all of a sudden you get this creative inspiration or some brilliant idea for some of you. Okay. And I feel like it's, For some of you, it's a little wink wink energy, you know what I mean? So it's passion, okay? Flirtation, fire. You might be feeling extra magnetic this weekend, okay? So I feel like people are really noticing your glow up, and someone's energy sparks up in your direction, okay? Because sometimes, I mean, the Ace of Wands, if we really break it down to day-to-day business, it could be getting into some business this weekend, okay? For some of you. But yeah, overall, this first row here it's really telling us that balance and stability and spark. It feels like the weekend is really setting you up for something fresh, okay? I can't do that. That's too weird. Anyways, it's not chaotic. It's aligned. It's powerful, and maybe a little sexy too. Okay, little sexy time for some of you. All right, and if you didn't know about the Ace of Wands, now you know. But I'm sure a lot of you know that can be quite a phallic energy. Anyways, the second row here with the King of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and Death. All right. This is where it gets even more interesting. The King of Wands is, confidence, right? It's, I walk into a room and people notice, okay? So some of you are going to feel a lot bolder than usual, I would say, okay? And perhaps you're finally ready to, text that person back or pitch an idea or wear that super cute outfit you normally keep in the back of the closet. You're bringing it to the front because you're feeling really confident, and the King of Wands energy, it doesn't sit back. They go for it. Okay. They just go for it. Now, when I'm pairing this all with the Ace of Pentacles, it's telling you there's going to be some opportunities popping up for you this weekend, right? And they're not just little breadcrumbs. The Ace of Pentacles is a seed that can grow into something huge, right? So perhaps some of you receive some kind of offer. Maybe you get an extra shift or something, or maybe you stumble across like a side hustle idea, or something creative that can help bring in some money. Okay, that as well. Maybe you get asked out on a date. Okay, here that it feels promising. Whatever it is, the Ace of Pentacles is something real, and it's something that you can build on. All right. And then, okay, why do we have this plot twist with Death here? I feel like, and I know some of you like kind of went just now, right? But don't panic, right? Especially we're talking about something new ending right away. Death in this row is really talking about how you are stepping into opportunity, but only if you are leaving behind like the old way. So if you want new love, you've got to stop texting the situationship, right? If you want new money to flow in, you've got to stop doubting yourself and holding back, right? So it's really about, the transformation that needs to happen. So it's not like something starting and ending instantly this weekend. But there is something ending, right? Especially with the world. You're closing something out this weekend. It's not a tragedy, okay? It's more like freedom. It's liberation, all right? Now, moving on to the third row down here, we have the Six of Swords, we have the Four of Pentacles, and then the Nine of Swords. And, this is a little bit of the tea, bestie, because the Six of Swords is the moment where you say, look, I am done with the chaos. I'm moving towards peace, right? It's literally this vibe of like cleaning your room and instantly feeling like 10 pounds lighter, okay? So it's also could look like booking that, solo hike on a Sunday, or turning off your phone because you're really over the drama, stuff like that. Spirit is moving you into calmer waters, like a more peaceful time for yourself. But then the Four of Pentacles comes in, and that's like, all right, but I don't want to let go. I don't really want to let go. This could be you holding on to, it could be a grudge. I don't know, but I don't know why I heard grudge right away. Holding on to a grudge or a habit, or even money just a little bit too tightly. Like you want to save, or you want to protect yourself, or, you're trying to be careful. Okay, but what we need to do is remember that sometimes when we hold on to things very tightly, no matter what it is, we could be blocking the flow of energy, right? We got to let And we got to let go to let the energy flow. All right. That's what I think of every time I see the Four of Pentacles. Right. But I understand the reasons why we hang on to things so tightly, especially if it's money specifically, because in this deck, it is like money. I didn't really notice what's happening here in this deck. Wow. Actually, this is the first time that I've paid attention to this illustration for the Four of Pentacles here. So look at this guy, okay? He's literally, first of all, he's sinking in quicksand, which as a millennial, like elder millennial, I'll say, I grew up being a lot more scared and thinking quicksand was going to be a bigger problem in my life than it actually ended up being. You know what I mean? I was pretty scared of quicksand when I was a kid. But let me know in the comments if you were too. Holy. Okay, so anyways, there's literally like a disgusting centipede looking thing on this guy's neck. Okay, crawling up towards an open mouth. Oh my gosh, that's gross. But he's still worried and so concerned about those four singles right there, like those $4. Like, dude, you're drowning by hanging on to that. If you let it go, you'll be able to get yourself out, and at least stop that centipede from freaking going in your mouth. Anyways, you could save yourself here by letting it go. Okay, to save yourself. And are you going to sink in the quicksand holding on to these four singles, or are you going to let it go and get yourself, moving again, and you can go make infinite singles when you're still alive, right? Like, anyways, I know I went kind of deep on that card, but it's kind of funny. I like this deck actually quite a bit. Anyways, and for anyone who's interested, it is called the Pulp Tarot. Okay, the Pulp Tarot. Anyways, yeah, so I just don't be too scared here, right? Don't be scared to let something go. Okay, I'm gonna, sometimes, clinging too tightly, it will keep us stuck, right? It will keep us stuck in this quicksand. Okay. We don't want that. So I'm moving along here. We get the Nine of Swords. Okay, so this is late night. Overthinking. Some of you might be tossing and turning this weekend, maybe stressing about, did I do the right thing? Because after that explanation, if you're tuning in, I think you're letting go. Okay, I do believe you're letting go. You're like, I got to get myself out of this. I'm just gonna let it go. So yeah, did I do the right thing? Should I really let this go? What if I mess this up? Okay, but the thing is, the Nine of Swords is always more fear than it is reality. Do you know what I mean? Like, these swords are never ever ever touching the person in the image. It's all what we think is going to happen, all the worst case scenarios, all the what ifs. Like, the stuff that we're worried about isn't actually happening, isn't actually real. So we got to remind ourselves of that when we start kind of spiraling, and questioning ourselves. So, your mind is spinning these stories that aren't true. So we got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And I feel like to tie it all back to the World card that, was sitting here underneath the deck, you're closing a huge chapter, right? And when we close chapters, it is normal to feel like a little bit of, fear or doubt. Like, what if the next season isn't as good as the last, right? But Bestie, I feel like Spirit's like, don't worry, your glow up is absolutely real. So I feel like it's going to be, a very good weekend. I mean, it feels like a good weekend to me, right? There's going to be like, balance and stability. You're really going to set the tone for this weekend, okay? With this energy up here, a spark of passion or creativity lights up your weekend. You're going to feel confident. You're going to feel like real opportunities are coming in. You're going to see them. There's a transformation that requires some kind of letting go here, but you are moving towards peace. And you're feeling maybe a little bit, you're moving towards peace, but we're not going to ignore it. We're not going to sugarcoat it. And you might still feel a little bit clingy and maybe a little bit of overthinking, but it's okay. The world says the chapter is closing and we're just going to trust the ending. Of course, it's also the beginning. So whether you're cleaning or chilling or working or just living out your best life, I feel like this weekend is really about claiming your power and saying yes to new beginnings here, Bestie, and not letting fear stop you from stepping into the next chapter. Okay. So, I'm going to clarify a couple of these, themes here. I've got a couple questions on board here, and I just want to know if you're still here for it. What is this new opportunity? I want to know what the Ace of Pentacles is that's going to be presenting, because it feels like it's going to be something solid here. What do we have? The Nine of Rods. All right. My deck's upside down. Hold on. Nine of Wands. Nine of Pentacles. And then Seven of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Chariot. Sorry, in reverse, but I feel like this is really talking about the doubts. Just hang on a sec. Okay, Bestie, I am so glad that I clarified this, because this is making a lot more sense to me. And I feel like it's going to make a little bit more sense to you why we saw Ace of Pentacles and Death together at the beginning. And I feel like Spirit likes to tease, and this is why we've got to clarify sometimes, because I feel like this new opportunity, right? It's absolutely real. It's legit. But I can almost feel you side-eyeing it with this energy, like, I don't know about this one, because Nine of Wands is giving like, I've been through it, I'm tired, and I don't know if I can trust anything new right now. You've got the battle scars, Bestie, and you really don't want to waste your energy again and your time. I get it. I totally get it. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles right beside it, and that's independence. It's confidence. It's glow up energy. And this is Spirit literally saying, like, listen, you've got it, right? You're in your glow up. You've worked hard to get here, so you can absolutely handle this. Like, I feel like this is a little bit of doubt, and this is Spirit saying you got this. Like, this new opportunity, it's not here to strip you of your freedom, or your worth. It's really here to highlight it. But then the Seven of Swords paired with this Chariot in reverse, it's again this doubt creeping in. Like, is this a trap? Like, I feel like you're kind of on edge, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop in a sense with this opportunity. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like for you, but you might not trust it. It's going to feel like, it's going to feel like you don't believe in it, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, what if this doesn't go anywhere, And I feel like this is exactly why Death was sitting next to the Ace of Pentacles here. It's like Spirit saying, look, don't sabotage this because it feels too good to be true, right? Because sometimes, when we've been burned in the past, we can slam the door shut before the new energy even gets a chance to prove itself, right? So I feel like the Chariot reversed here is saying, like, you could literally block yourself from moving forward if you let fear run the show. All right. So the tea this weekend is, if something pops up that feels super exciting, but also like suspiciously good, please take a moment, pause before you just flat out reject it. Okay. Feel into your intuition. Okay. Definitely do that. But don't let any kind of like old wounds or suspicion trick you into saying no to something that could actually be really aligned for you. So this is why I'm super pumped. Like, I'm super pumped that we clarified this. Okay. And so I guess now to clarify Death a little bit more, I want to know what needs to be released or transformed. Okay. So that this new spark can actually take root. And I have the Moon. I have Nine of Cups. Nope. All right. We have the Ace of, there's the new spark again. Ace of Rods here, and then Five of Cups again. Okay, I understand. I get it. Okay. I gotta be so for real with you, Bestie. Like, the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Wands is literally like wish fulfillment meets like passion, right? And we already have the Ace of Wands. So like, this is going to be something that you've been asking for, or even like praying for, or, journaling about, okay, vision boarding, right? This spark, this opportunity, it's aligned, it's real, it's here, it's aligned with your desires, right? And Spirit's like, Bestie, we're literally handing you like what you said you wanted. But then here's where it gets a little bit messy. We have the Moon and we have the Five of Cups, hanging around like two friggin' party crashers here. The Moon is illusions and fears and little voices that whisper like, what if it's not real? What if you're just imagining this, And the Five of Cups is all those old letdowns and disappointments really rising back up. It's this feeling of like, last time I thought I found my wish, it ended in grief. Okay. So this is exactly what Spirit's saying needs to be transformed. Okay. You can't carry, well, I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do, but I'm saying you can't carry the energy of your past heartbreaks and betrayals or failed attempts into this new spark, right? And expect it to grow. So otherwise, I mean, you'll be projecting yesterday's pain onto today's blessings, right? So the death card is really here saying, like, release the ghost of what went wrong last time, okay? And please stop letting these old cups of spilled milk over here or spilled tears take up space really on your altar, because Spirit's like putting a brand new Ace of Wands in your hands, okay? And this time it's not about disappointment, it's about fulfillment. Okay, so this weekend you might feel some of these old memories bubbling up, like deja vu, okay, with a little bit of a sting. And that's your invitation to really recognize it, honor it, okay, but then let it go, right? The grief had its season, and this is the start of a new one. Okay, this is the start of a new one. So let's, I guess, find out how we can let things go, or, yeah, how can we move out of the fear and overthinking and trust the cycle that's closing, with the world. How can we really let this go? Is there any advice? Okay. There was lots. It just kind of popped out. Oh, look at all the aces in this spread. Okay. Wow. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Pentacles. Look, we have the Ace of Rods out twice. We had the Ace of Pentacles here, and now we have the Ace of Cups. This is really gorgeous. It really is, bestie. I mean, the 4 of Swords basically here saying, stop. I'm going to put this down. Stop spiraling, and give yourself permission to rest. Okay. You don't have to have all the answers this weekend. You really don't. Take a nap, meditate, go for a walk. Okay. Spirit's reminding you that quieting the mind is part of the healing, right? It's part of the healing. And then we see the 8 of Wands here. Things are going to move forward very quickly, okay? With or without overthinking. It's like when you book a ticket and the plane takes off, whether you're biting your nails or not, okay? The universe is saying, it's okay, relax, right? The momentum, it's already here. And with the Ace of Cups, I mean, this is emotional renewal, okay? Spirit's pouring love and healing and new energy straight into your cup, okay? So, yeah, for some of you, it could be romance, right? Or a new deepening connection, okay? For others, it's self-love in motion, I feel like, feeling open again, actually excited for what's next instead of dreading it. Okay, so the 3 of Pentacles under the deck, it does say that you're not doing this alone, okay? You've got spiritual support, you've got real life allies, and you've got people who actually want to build with you, okay? So if you've been carrying this fear of like, what if I'm on my own, or what if I mess this up? Spirit's like, no, bestie, you're supported, okay? You're supported. So, the way out of that 9 of Swords loop, is to rest. Allow this momentum to unfold, open your heart to the Ace of Cups energy, and really trust that teamwork and collaboration and connection are really here to hold you as you step into this new cycle for yourself, bestie. I love it. So, to kind of wrap it up, this weekend is about endings and beginnings, okay? You're stepping into balance and stability, new sparks of passion and opportunity coming up. And the only thing really standing in the way is this old fear of disappointment, and a suspicion that if it feels good, it can't be real. Okay, so the overthinking that basically is going to maybe keep you stuck in bed. Okay, but Spirit's handing you the Ace of Wands twice in this reading, and the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. I mean, this is opportunity coming in, right? It's passion, it's love, it's creativity, it's emotional renewal, and it's sparks and healing. The chapter closing with the world is just clearing the space so you can actually receive this. All right. So your homework this weekend is, Bessie, don't shut it down, right? Don't talk yourself out of your own blessing. Okay. Rest, release, and let yourself really lean into that spark of joy. Okay. Because this new chapter really is already here, and it's so much better than the reruns that you've been stuck on. Okay, so that's basically the message, and I just had to do a little nod. We were coming right back to the death energy again, and this is like it's time to transform, right? So when the reading repeats itself, I know the transmission is done and over. Anyway, I will see you again on Sunday. Of course, I'm here every day at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, taking you around to little spaces here on the coast in my beautiful little coastal town with the shorts, right? It has been so foggy lately. I've been trying to catch moments where the sun is out, but you know, we're in September now, but it's funny, on the coast we call it fogist, so we're still kind of in the fogist energy. um, and it is what it is. I kind of live in a little bit of a rainforest, all right. It's Fern Gully over here. And so we can get pretty foggy. Yeah, but it is what it is. Anyways, thank you for being here. If you're new and you found this channel, like, please go ahead and feel free to join us at the Divine Feminist. We try to do empowering messages for you and your glow up journey. And I am sending you so much love. Like, I love you all. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.